For the next 9 days, I'm attempting one of the most iconic hikes on Earth.
No need to worry, no need to panic.
This is the Tour du Mont Blanc. 180 kilometers circling Europe's tallest mountain.
This very second is one of the best moments of my life.
My journey begins here, in a small French village not far from Chamonix, and the hike will take me across 3 separate countries: France, Italy, and Switzerland.
Have you ever seen such a beautiful morning in all of your life?
Along the way, I'll face over 10,000 meters of elevation, scorching summer heat, sudden alpine storms, and the mental battle of putting one foot in front of the other day after day, with the hopes and dreams of finishing this epic hike. The TMB is just pure magic. This is going to be an emotional roller coaster, and I'd love for you to join me. Right, let's begin.
Good morning. Just wiping the tears from my eyes because it's cold, not because I'm emotional. Although I have just been watching the ultimate marathon runners doing the TMB. So here we are doing a 9-day walk of the Tour, and at the same time, last night, the UTMB started, the ultra marathon, the most famous race in the world, and they're doing the entire Tour in one day, running it. So there are thousands of runners, and they're making their way up the hill there. There's a refugio perched on the edge of a cliff. That's where we'll be walking this morning, but we ain't running up there. So good luck, boys and girls.
I wanted to give a big shout out to this refugio. Cabane du Combal here on the Italian side was just fantastic. Fresh coffee, delicious food, great breakfast, great service, great staff, and with the location of just at the lip of this incredible glacier, it was fantastic. I could have stayed there for days, but alas, we've got some hiking to do.
Today, we're going up and over this mountain, down into a big town, the Italian version of Chamonix, and maybe have a spot of lunch, and then we're heading back up into the mountains to our refugio. It's just going to be a lovely sunny morning, and we're going to try our best to stay out of the way of all of the ultra marathon runners. Fucking nearly just stacked it. All of the ultra marathon runners who are passing us by. So let's just hope we can hike without getting in their way too much. Look at this. The beautiful lavender flowers are out. The greens of the summer, the whites of the glaciers that stay up there at that high altitude all year. Look at the blue of the lake. Incredible.
And just around the corner, I rejoined the TMB and was soon joined by all of the ultra marathon runners. They'd just completed the high mountain pass from France into Italy through an almighty storm in the middle of the night. So let's stay out of their way as much as possible. Let them recover as we soak up uninterrupted views of Mont Blanc. Half of me wanted to just stay still and admire the views and go slow, but I had to keep going and get out of the way of these hikers who were trying to make it to the next checkpoint before the cutoff.
So these guys have been running for 12, 13 or 14 hours now. They've been running through the night, through the rain. And so for them, this is probably the first time the sun is hitting their faces. Since last night anyway. So they're just taking this moment to take off some layers, refuel, before they crack on all the way up there. Let's give them some support.
And And all of these people you see here, they're really struggling. They're really far back.
Let's go Hong Kong.
And if they don't make it to Courmayeur, the next town, in the next few hours, they will be eliminated. Not only was it magnificent this morning, the weather, the views, but to be able to hike alongside these ultra marathon runners, it was so motivating, it was so uplifting.
There's a beautiful rainbow, a nice moment for the hikers and the runners. I just got signal and I've been checking some of the stories from last night. Sound really, really brutal. These guys have been through it last night by the sound of things.
To think that it's actually possible to do the TMB in one go without sleeping is just a marvel. Over 2,000 runners started this race the previous day, and at this point they've been on the trail now for over 12 hours and it's starting to show.
Okay, just had a lovely chat with that English fella. Apparently last night when they were doing that pass, snow going across their face, freezing cold snowstorm, and apparently it was dark, it was cold, it was freezing, and it was miserable. And there's a few Americans that we just spoke to as well. Most of them are in good spirits because the worst part's over, they said. They ran through the night, through the rain, through the snow, and they said that once we get down the other side of this mountain, that's pretty much the halfway point, and they'll get a nice feed in the town there. They have the big station with lots of food. They have those stations every 2 hours apparently, but there's a big one in the town. And then I continue further up. I'm not quite sure where I'm staying tonight, but somewhere in that valley. Mount Blanc is now hiding, but what a view. What an incredible view this is.
Over 2,000 people started the race, and just over half of that will actually finish. That's how brutal this race is. So my job was to hike in safety, capture some of the views for you because it was one of the highlights of the TMB. But like I said before, stay out of the way as much as possible. As I stopped here for a little snack and a rest, these racers were looking knackered, and if they didn't hurry up, they would be eliminated. And for the next few hours, I took turns in just soaking up the views and having well-deserved rests. And on the downhills, whenever the racers were running past me, sometimes I just felt like joining them. And as a test to myself to see if I can actually keep up with them.
Let's go, buddy.
Even if it is for 5 minutes. As I hiked and sometimes ran down this mountain, we all made our way down to Courmayeur.
Okay, we made it all the way from up there somewhere into the town. Let's find a spot for lunch, let's resupply, and then let's continue. Hey! Let's go, Mike. It's a really pretty little village, actually.
Courmayeur is a stunning little village here in Italy. Ancient architecture, delicious food and restaurants on every corner, loads of places to resupply, and a great spot on a day like today to just take it easy, take a few hours off being on the hiking trail. So let's go find a cool place to hang out, find some food, and treat ourselves a little bit, as this is the first big town that we're passing through.
Okay, that was a lovely, lovely, well-deserved relaxing afternoon in that beautiful town. A great bit of lunch and just a relaxing few hours listening to that angel singing her heart out in the piazza. Right, we're heading to Refugio Bertone. Says it's about an hour 45, and with it being such a gorgeous afternoon, what's the rush?
Yeah, the hike up out of Courmayeur to my Refugio for the night was a brutal 800 meter or so climb. But I was glad to get this section done at the end of the day, and the views along the way up to my Refugio were simply out of this world. So yeah, welcome to Refugio Bertone, home for tonight, and at 2,000 meters, really high up with incredible views of Courmayeur down below and all of the mountains that we'd been hiking over for the past few days.
Okie dokie, I'm settled in at Refugio Bertone, and it has quite the view, which is certainly an understatement. I mean, this is probably the best view from a Refugio that we've had so far. There's Mont Blanc up there with wisp and snow coming off the peak. That's where we came from today, down that valley. And there's the town that we hung out this afternoon. It's business as usual here in this Refugio. They have lots of rules, you know, keep your backpack outside, take your shoes off, keep it clean. Here's a coin, you get 4 minutes of hot water in the shower, so you've got to be very efficient when you have your shower. Dinner is at 7 o'clock, breakfast is at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we have to be out of here by 8. So it's just a nice way to end your day, is having a meal with some new hikers, with some friends, making memories here on the TMB. And yeah, I'll catch up with you again tomorrow. We got quite an easy day in comparison. It's a long, flat 4 or 5 hours and then a big climb. Right, see you tomorrow. There's a big group there that have a big mule carrying goods and foods. That is an option, by the way, if you're doing the TMB. You can join a group tour with a guide and a mule, and the mule will carry some of the load, but they all still have to carry their own bags. But not something I'm interested in, but maybe you guys want to lighten the load. I navigate on maps.me, but the trail is very well signposted, except for right here. I didn't know whether to go that way or this way, but maps.me is telling me go that way. And since we've got such beautiful weather, and since once we do get over this little mound, it should be nothing but highlight after highlight.
If your main reason for doing the TMB is to take incredible photographs of landscapes and to soak up and create memories in one of the most beautiful places in the world, then pray for good weather on this section of the hike. For this 10-kilometer stretch, it's mostly flat and acts as a bit of a balcony. On the right-hand side, you'll have a hill, and on the left, you'll have uninterrupted views of Mont Blanc and the Massif itself. And thank the gods, the weather today was beautiful. And just when I wanted to have a sit down and to relax and really soak up the views, there was this beautiful wooden bench just perched here perfectly. And while I had a quick drink and a little snack, I thought it would be interesting for this section of the video anyway, to have no music and no voiceover from me. Just a 90-second section of the video where you can just hear the sounds of the TMB.
Okay. Okay, that refuge was amazing. Great staff, incredible lunch buffet, and just a nice place to relax, man. Had a nice hour here, half an hour in the waterfall, soaking my feet, soaking up the sun on the grass outside, enjoying this absolutely incredible valley. Woo! And of course, putting off the inevitable, which is the hardest part of today, which is hiking up this mountain behind me, up and over into Switzerland, about another 6 kilometers. I wouldn't mind a little bit of cloud coverage actually, because it started to get quite brutal. I've applied sun cream for the 5th time today.
If you've ever done a multiple day hike, then you'll know after a few days you start to build up strength and endurance. And after that beautiful morning session and a great lunch and the weather still being absolutely glorious, I was feeling happy, I was feeling motivated, I was feeling strong and powerful. This was one of the highlights of the TMB, and if you couple that with the views all around us today, I mean, it was an out-of-body experience.
This doesn't happen very often, but I'm walking down a valley in Switzerland there are marmots running around, there are birds flying, and my music is on fire. There's Limp Bizkit, there's Oasis, there's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So many great memories from these songs, these concerts that I've been to as a young man. All of my memories of being young and just being into so much rock and roll. And it's blasted in my ear as I'm walking through the Swiss Alps, coming into my 40s. And it is just such a moment of like, I had no idea who I was when I was in my 20s. No idea of where to go. No idea what I was going to end up doing. I was confused. I was drinking. I was working in bars. And I was just an absolute nightmare. I was having a good time though, don't get me wrong. If I could have just told myself, Paddy, when you're nearly 40, you're going to be making money. You're going to be having a business that lets you go to the Swiss Alps to rock out to this kind of music. And, you know, all you have to do is share it with the people that watch you. Share the experience, share the thrill, share the ups and downs, give them information, but also just let them smile. And I'm doing that now. And I just want to say a big thank you. This is one of those moments where it all just comes at me, the emotion of life. And this very second is one of the best moments of my life. And I just thought I'd randomly share that with you. Right, let's get to this refugio. Let's have a shower. Yeah, what an epic day. And I made it down to our accommodation. We were staying in a converted dairy farm. So we were sleeping in a barn, but it was beautiful. The food was incredible. They had the best food on the entire hike. And the best part was they had this delicious homemade ice cream straight from the raw cow's milk into the ice cream machine itself. Pure heaven. What a day. I'll never forget it. And in typical TMB style, I woke up the next morning and the weather was absolutely shite. It might be miserable, but it's still absolutely incredibly beautiful. And just like that, the Swiss Alps has some more plans for us involving crap weather. Have a look at this. It was blowing a gale, it was pissing down rain all night, and we've woken up to a terrible forecast of lots of rain, lots of wind. Luckily it's just a bit drizzle at the minute, but we've all had a lovely breakfast and we're all starting to leave in drips and drabs. First slip and fall of the day, thanks to this slippy little ledge here, and I kind of grazed my arm on the rock. Oh, that's going to be a nice little shiner, as we say in England. Bit of a bruise, looks like it's pierced the skin. Okay, dust yourself off. Stay alert, because it's going to be a slippy one. I'm trying to imagine what this valley would look like yesterday. Because even now it's magnificent. But I have to say it's amazing to be back in the Swiss Alps. Thank you so much to all those people that watched my series 2 years ago now, hiking from Interlaken over to Zermatt. That was such a great memory. And it's great to be back here in the Swiss Alps. So if it looks like I've been mud wrestling, that's because I'm ashamed to say there was a few slip and tumbles on the way down there. It was very slippy, very muddy, and I slipped and fell on my arse. I'm ashamed to say probably around 7 times. And it was quite funny because I didn't get hurt, but it could have been a lot worse. I hope everyone's okay coming down that hill today. I mean, have a look at the state of me. Got mud all up my sleeve. Mud up all one side. It's all part of it. Okay, well deserved coffee and a toilet break, thanks to that lovely little cafe here in La Folie. Apparently you can get a bus from here all the way to pretty much where the refugio is today. And there's quite a few people taking the bus because they're cold and they're wet. But this is the TMB, so I'm here to do the hike, ladies and gentlemen. No cable cars, no buses, thank you very much. I'll slow motion it. Yeah, what I love about the TMB is that it's such a social hike if you want it to be. I was just hiking and a bit cold, a bit miserable, and I got caught up by 4 hikers that I stayed with last night and on the first night. And because it's a loop and everyone has their accommodation sorted, sometimes you're staying at the same refugios. So you see the same people on and off, sometimes on the trail, sometimes at lunch, sometimes in the evening over dinner. And so you build relationships. And when you're feeling a bit down, a bit cold, a bit wet, a bit battered and bruised, like me, you can hang back, have a coffee, and then join a few people, build up your morale, build up your good energy, have a bit of a chin wag, and then when it's time, you go ahead and you just get to hike alone again. And just like that, the sun's come out to play. I mean, it is, you know, it's trying its best. But yeah, we're just hiking along this gorgeous river valley, and there's a bit of sunlight coming through to warm us up. Looks like the clag is coming back. We might be hiking through the fog. The atmosphere is incredible. It's like hiking through a cloud, but it's hot and humid. Thankfully, this section here has a chain that we can grab. I have to say, this forest is enchanted. It is magnificent. Have a listen. If only you guys could smell it. Just so amazing. I know smell doesn't translate on YouTube, but I wish it did. So this gorgeous little Swiss village was the home of a delicious cheese and mushroom omelette, a delicious cappuccino, but they didn't take card, and I only had 20 euros on me. Thankfully, one of the other hikers on the TMB paid for me, and I'm gonna get the cash point down in the next town. Look at this, guys. I have no words.
I've done lots of other places.
Right, we've made it to Chamex, a scenic little village on a lake. Good spot for me to go to the ATM to get some cash because I owe one of the hikers some money for lunch and I need some cash on hand. And another excuse maybe to get a Twix bar or something sugary. Not far now. We've got to kind of like go up that cloud-filled valley, get on the variant, And then our refugio for the night is a little bit up there. I'm tempted to hang out at this lake for a bit, but not much going on. Look at this! Woo! Home for the night is just around the corner. Can you believe it? Look at this! Come on now, Switzerland. Stop taking the piss. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be a wrap for part 2 of the TMB. I've just checked into the Arpete and I've got a lovely little bunk bed, and there's an American guy in there having a nap, so I'm not going to film it. But I had the best shower of the entire hike. This place looks fancy. I'll show you some footage now of the buffet dinner that we have later and the buffet breakfast tomorrow. And we have an exciting part of the TMB tomorrow. We're going up super high for an adventurous variant. Apparently there's some scrambling involved and climbing ladders. Hopefully the weather plays game and we can do it. Otherwise it's a bit of a boring loop around. So hopefully we get to do something really epic in the next episode. And yeah, thanks for watching part 2 of the TMB here from Italy over into Switzerland. And the final part will be documenting the exciting variant, another couple of days in Switzerland before we head back into France to finish it. Hopefully we can finish it in one piece. So tune in and watch part 3 right here, right now.